Tēnā koutou katoa and welcome to everyone. This is a late evening in New Zealand, but it is probably an afternoon or a morning where you are. It's a small group today, which means that we have a good chance for some quality interaction. And we have a star-studded team here today of my colleagues, Stitha, Rebecca, Myra, and we are especially grateful for one of our current MBA students, Grace, who will join us and talk about her experience. The purpose of today is to respond to the little voices in your head that probably have said for quite a while that you need to do something about your career, you need to do something to move forward, you need to do something to come to New Zealand if that is what you want. And we want to help you achieve that. This program, the 12-month MBA at Massey, is a program that is designed for people who want to come to New Zealand, who want to have a great career, who might want to return back home and do wonderful things at home, but many want to stay. It's a beautiful country. It's a great economy that is going well, and we want to make sure that you have a chance to realize your dreams, to be a person who can be in New Zealand with the family, studying, then working, and then getting residence. And we will walk you through how that process works. I will turn it over to Rebecca.
Kia ora, everyone. My name is Rebecca Buchanan. I'm the sales manager for the Massey Executive Development Team. Why would you choose to study your MBA at Massey University in New Zealand? Well, as you can see already online here, we have an amazing team. They will look after you. We will look after you on your professional development journey that you're traveling through with us. The experience that you're going to have is very practical. You're going to have a very high level of networking. And Massey's MBAs are, of course, globally recognized qualifications. Now, having the choice of programs that we're going to explain for you tonight means that you can choose to study full-time in New Zealand or online part-time from your home country while you continue to work full-time. As I said, your studies are going to be very practical. What does that mean? It's going to be relevant to real world current business, what is really going on in the world now. We're not just going to give you books to read, theory to learn, and then leave you to work out how on earth you're going to action that in your actual work. You're going to learn each subject in depth. You're going to discuss this with your academics. They are business professionals, and your professional peers that you are mixing with, all with their different levels of experience in different subject areas. So you're going to learn how what you are learning relates to the company, might be a specific company that you're learning about for that particular subject, but also how to apply it in your company. You will turn up at work able to contribute at meetings that you wouldn't have felt confident contributing at before. Now, it's not going to be like school, going back, school. It's not going to be like that, okay? You're just sitting, listening to a teacher tell you what they know, and you've just got to take it in. No, you're going to be involved in the discussions throughout your whole study journey, as if you're in a boardroom, having meetings at work, getting into that discussion, really bringing out everybody's ideas, critiquing. You'll be so involved, you'll just love it. The networks you will develop, of course, are going to be long-term business connections. This is with business professionals, the ones teaching you, the ones that will join you as guest speakers, who are going to teach you about their companies, strategies, and practices. And also, of course, your fellow students. They all come with that same high level of experience as you, but all, as I mentioned, with different subject areas, so you can share that knowledge, a huge resource of knowledge for you to continue and hold on to for the rest of your career. And also, greatly, there are no exams in the MBA. You will only have 3 assessments to complete for each course, tick it off, and it's done. This is where we get to show you the accreditation of our MBAs, internationally accredited. Now, this is giving you that confidence that you're choosing the programs that will stand out on your CV. They will be recognised as a high quality MBA program, not only in New Zealand, but also internationally. Now you'll see there's a lot of letters and things all over this page. Now, AACSB, that's the Association to Advance Collegiate Schools of Business. What on earth does that mean? It means it's an American professional organization. Now, AACSB ranks Massey University in the top 5% of global business schools. The accreditation with AMBER, you can see there, the Association of MBAs. That shows the highest standard of achievement in postgraduate business education. So MBA students, graduates, business schools, and employers all recognize AMBER accreditation as a gold standard. CEO magazine, read by the world's most successful leaders, executives, investors, and entrepreneurs. They award us with a Tier 1 global MBA ranking, and they also rank the Massey online MBA 11th in the world for this year. Shanghai ranking, you can see there as well. We are #1 in New Zealand for business administration. So there is a lot of evidence showing you there that these are high quality, internationally recognized programs that we are showing you here tonight. Now we have 3 different sort of structures that we're going to show you tonight. The MBA studied full-time. That is studied in New Zealand at our Auckland campus in the Albany suburb. You attend classes in person on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursdays. Now, this is from 3 o'clock in the afternoon till 7 p.m. That's great because you're also going to be able to work part-time, which means you can actually get a job working around that time frame, not having to just stick to weekends or late nights. It's 12 months that you complete this 180 credit program. So that means you're going to be able to get back into full-time work much more quickly than if it was a longer 1.5 year master's. You can specialize in the MBA. You get New Zealand work experience, New Zealand market exposure, and you will go out on company visits, field trips to go and see how they run their company behind the scenes. The online MBA, fully online. Now, this, if you are studying the standard part-time structure, you study 1 course at a time, and it can be completed between 18 to 24 months. We also offer the Executive MBA. Now, this is targeted to our students who have an even higher level of work experience, 7 years at least of full-time work experience and 3 years of management experience. You will come together for a weekend workshop in person every 6th weekend. Now, this involves 15 months of study plus your consulting study. The Executive MBA includes board experience, sitting on the boards and being able to get membership with Governance New Zealand.
Thank you, Rebecca. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the MBA and the specifics of this program. So let's start off with how we've designed this program. We've designed the program to give you skills to have confidence in making decisions in business, which means that you can and you could look at roles like the senior manager roles or entrepreneurs or CEOs or really anything. And like Rebecca said, this is a generalist program. It gives you an understanding of what a business is and what it takes to run a successful business. And these are the skills that we continuously build on through designing and developing, and skills that you gain while studying the MBA. So on the next slide, let's talk a little bit about the courses. The way the program is run. All of this skills, knowledge, networking, all of the information that Rebecca just told you as well about the program, you gain in just 12 months. In 12 months, you come out on the other side with an MBA degree. And that's how easy it does look. A typical MBA class is about 20 to 30 MBA students. We're extremely diverse. We've got students who come in from Russia, we've got Singapore, we've got China, we've got India, we've got people who come in from South Africa. So you really gain that global exposure from your peers as well. We have an almost equal gender mix in our class, and we've got about an average work experience of 15 years, which ranges from the minimum of 3 years that you require to qualify for this program. It goes up to about 16 to 20 years as well. We've got the average age of 38 years. Again, that ranges from about 27 years up to 56 years as well. So it's a wide range in class class, but you do get an opportunity to meet and interact with peers who also add to that learning that you've got. Now, some extremely interesting ROIs that we've got on this slide. I'm really proud of all of our students and the way they work through the program. I think the highlight of the ROIs is 62% of our students have improved their roles while studying their MBA. Just recently, there was an MBA graduate who completed in July and who came up and met us at office to talk to us about his success journey. And within these 5 months, he went from working at a call center to be a country manager, where he actually developed, designed, and implemented a business in his home country and brought that business back to New Zealand. And now he has been invited to apply for residency as well in New Zealand. So that could be you. So these are the skills, the confidence that the MBA gives you. Okay, so the course is only 10, the program's only 10 papers that you need to do, out of which 6 give you that business understanding, so different aspects of a business. 2 give you that specialized option. Now, this again puts you ahead of the competition in New Zealand because we are the only MBA that really offers these specializations. So you're already ahead the minute you choose Massey University's MBA. As a full-time student, you've got 2 options to specialize, either global business or business sustainability. And then you go into part 2, which is where you really get your hands dirty. You pull from all of these skills for your first 8 courses and get an opportunity to apply this into a real world business problem. But you also get an opportunity to meet influential people in the market. All of this knowledge is transferred to you from academics. So lecturers who come in who are practicing in the market, which means they bring in latest technologies, latest market trends, and latest information about the New Zealand market, as well as the global market, to come into class and bring it to you. So in addition to all of the skills and the programs that we've designed, there are just a few highlights that I would like to bring in here for this evening. And that is that you do get to work part-time. So while you are studying a full-time MBA, you're already in the market, are being able to build skills, but also grow that network. We also give you an opportunity to go and visit organizations, companies, talk to managing directors, talk to CEOs while you're doing the MBA to really pick their brains on what's the best way to enter the New Zealand market and how can you make the most of it. And of course, the highlight of the program is definitely that you get up to 3 years of an open work visa afterwards. And it is the pathways to residency as well. Great. So on this slide, we've gone out and we've asked some of our current students what they think and what their journey has been like, and they've been kind enough to share some of their experiences with us. I think the highlight here is that Himanshu does talk about gaining that confidence, being able to successfully put it into, entering the New Zealand market and then entering those managerial roles. And I most definitely agree with Toby. Book your tickets and get on board. Come join us at Massey University. Great. So let's talk about the investment that you're going to make in your future. So it is a visa rule that you need to pay your fees upfront, which means you need to pay your fees for the full program at the beginning of your study. And that would be 60,600 New Zealand dollars for 2024. Now, this includes all of your study materials. So once you've given us this fees, it includes everything you need to successfully complete your study with us and get that MBA degree at the end. Something to remember is also that you have to show 20,000 for living expenses when you're applying for your visa as well. When you apply for the MBA at Massey University, you are automatically put into the running for these MBA awards. They're $2,000 each, adjusted against your fees, and these are for a high GPA in your bachelor's degree, 5+ years of relevant work experience, and if you've got a previous master's degree. They're $2,000 each, which means you can get up to $6,000 adjusted against your fees. And in addition, we have the Professor Jens Mueller Outstanding Full-Time Student Prize of $2,000 to encourage you to talk up, to speak up in class, to discuss, to get into those discussions and really build on your learning experience as well. So talking about learning experience and someone who's made the most of their journey, we have Grace here this evening who has kindly given us her time. Thank you so much for joining us, Grace, and over to you.
Yes, thank you, Zita, and everyone. So just for everyone's reference, I'm originally from Hong Kong. I've worked for over 20 years. And last October, as soon as the border opened, I decided to come to New Zealand and do this 1 year full-time MBA. The reason I choose a full-time is personally, I find doing part-time and at work, it's really difficult. So and just 1 year program, we can get the MBA. I think it's really valued for money. The reason I choose Massey is because, as Rebecca has explained already, it's really practical. So after so many years, I haven't go to school, I do worry that I got stuck in the lecture and doing all the textbooks and back to all the theories. But in reality, it's all the lecturer is actually in the markets and not just locally in New Zealand, but they have all the global exposures. And it's very practical. So it kind of helps to refresh my memories and push me to do a lot of reflections on how I used to work and give me different perspectives. So one of the highlights after this MBA is I gain different perspectives and I learn how to think differently and especially to think in a more big picture way rather than just my original role. And the other reason I choose Massey is because of the specializations. I do want to change my career to sustainability, and Massey offer the specialization in business sustainability, which is a very good stepping stone for me to move to where I want to build my career. And the last thing is to finish the MBA instead of doing a paper of like couple thousands, 10,000 words, is very practical internships. And it depends on what you do and how you build your relationships. I'm lucky enough, my internships is now going to turn into a role, which I'm going to start after the summer in here, which is the whole January. And just want to share some experience. It's if you are like me, have been worked for so many years. Going back to school, it's tough. Suddenly you will have a lot of reading and a lot of writing. And the writing is academic English. And you need to do a lot of reference. But I find it very helpful from Massey is they have the online academic support service, which I do encourage, and I did myself to book it almost every 2 weeks. Whenever I have an assignment come up, I'll always book the writing consultants just to get a third-person opinion. This is as we go along towards the end of the study, we pretty much know how to write and do all the reference correctly. But at the beginning, it's really important for us to pick up the academic English to the business English we do at work is very different. So that is one of the things I find it difficult at the beginning. And the learning, it's after a year, what I really remember is a lot of the frameworks and the right terminology we can use back in the business meetings. This help us to not just being a staff, but we can talk a lot more about the whole picture because the program is actually cover how a company runs from the HR, like leadership, teamwork, people management, to the overall finance, marketing, economics, supply chains. And when you drill into your specializations, for my case, then you can also talk more about what you want to build your career into. And then, as I said, throughout the courses, some of the highlights is company visits, because when we come to a new countries, apart from getting the visas, getting the MBA, is to build our network. And it's really up to the students to not just attend the class, just receiving sit back listens, but it's really good that people are very open in here. We can always stay connected with a lot of the professors and especially the guest speakers. This is how we can build our network, how we build our profiles, and then it helps us when we finish the MBA, we can actually find jobs here in New Zealand. And by the way, all the scholarships, the what is true, I get both of them.
Thank you so much for that, Grace. That was really nicely put. Thank you. We really do appreciate your time. If you've got any questions for Grace, please pop them in the chat box and we will ask her to answer them at the end of the session. For now, we're just going to move on and we're going to talk to you about the academic side of things from our very own in-house academic that we have.
Well, thank you very much for everybody. And I remember when I saw Grace on stage getting her award for the scholarship. That was just wonderful. And we do take care of our students quite well. We want to make sure that not only are you good academically, but we also support you in the way you study. And if there's a scholarship that we can support you with, then we absolutely do that. The key difference in what we do in New Zealand to many other countries, to maybe how you studied before in your undergraduate, is that we do not put a lecturer in front of you with a big book that they read from with a million PowerPoints behind them, and you have to remember all of that and then write it down in an exam. That's not really good learning. And what we do at Massey, and we're famous for that, is that it is a very practical teaching. We make sure that you get information in the same way and in the way it is used in practice, so that when you look for a job, employers know that you can actually do the work and you will be able to make a good contribution. The key point in New Zealand is that when you come study here, most likely you want to stay here. You want to bring the family, which you can do on a master's study. The family, your wife, your husband will get a full open work visa. The children go to school while you study. When you study, you get part-time work rights, 20 hours a week, and you will then be able to settle into New Zealand. 3 years after the study, you have an open work visa. That is like gold. You can do a job for any employer in any location. And if during those 3 years you have 1 year of skilled work experience, not washing windows, not filling up cars at the gas station, but doing a skilled job, which every MBA student would get after they finish 1 year of that work, and you're allowed to apply for residence. It has never been that easy in New Zealand or anywhere else, actually, to apply for residence. It works really, really well. So what we want you to consider is that if you're thinking of a career change for your home country or coming to New Zealand and living there, this is the fastest pathway into a new way of applying your skills. It is not cheap. It is cheaper than if you go to Singapore or to the US or to high schools in Europe, but it is expensive in terms of putting money together for 1 year to study for 12 months. But after those 12 months, you are off to earn good money, to have a good career, and to then settle into a country where we have a very low unemployment. Employers in New Zealand are screaming out for new employees, and it is quite easy in relative terms to find a good job. And we will help you, making sure that we bring in practitioners that come into the class, so you will connect with people from the workplace all the time. Every course probably has 1 or 2 or 3 people from the outside that come in, and they will talk to you about what they really do every day, so that when you leave the studies, you are ready to get good work done. Our job at Massey is to help you settle into a new career where you take charge of your life, where you bring your family and yourself to a point where you have choices, where you can make decisions what you want to do in the future. And that future should include a good career in New Zealand, something that allows you to practice your skill well. And in the MBA program at Massey, we do not expect that you have business knowledge. We expect that you have an undergraduate degree or many, many years of work experience, but it can be in any area, because we teach you to bring your previous experience together and to then become an MBA graduate, regardless of what you have done before in your undergraduate. So the important part for you to remember is that wherever you're from, whatever you've studied, whatever your plans are, this is a group of mid-level, maybe junior level executives who come together and they all want the same thing: success in a career, being wanted, being needed, being important in a firm, doing a good job to support the family, and creating value for the communities around you. That is what we prepare you for, and you will do very, very well at Massey in Auckland. Look, Auckland is the place where most of the jobs are in New Zealand. It is the big hub of the country. Once you start there, it's a fabulous footprint. Grace got a great opportunity to continue from an internship into a real career. And once you've set foot into Auckland, started there, you can then move out throughout New Zealand. New Zealand is a country where we're as big as California, we're as big as the UK, but we only have 5 million people. But if you think that's not enough, we have 40 million sheep. So if you want to hug a sheep, if you want to be among sheep, then we have many, many more than any other country. But what it's really all about is that we have opportunity to fulfill your dreams as a person, as a manager, as someone with a family, as someone who wants to make a better life. And on the opportunity of better life, I'll turn you back to Deetha.
Thank you, Jens. So you've heard so much from us. We've spoken to you about the program. We've spoken to you about how practical the program is, how this can be a pathways to building a life in New Zealand, about the networks you build, about the skills you learn, and about the amount of opportunities that the Massey MBA can give you. Now, in addition to that, so there's more. In addition to that, you also get support. There is university support, but there's also personalized support that you get with the MBA at Massey. And what that means is that all of the lovely staff people you see here this evening are all here to help you have a successful MBA journey. Now, what you see in front of you on the screen are all the support services that we wanted to highlight to you this evening. Out of this, I would like to speak to you about just 3 of them, which are designed specifically for MBA students. Now, the first one is that you get an opportunity to refresh your skills in math and Excel to ensure that you can successfully go on this journey through courses like business economics or operations and supply chain. We also have designed a career accelerator program where we've actually gone out, spoken to recruiters in New Zealand and asked them the kind of questions they might ask an MBA graduate. And we've put these questions together on our careers platform to help you practice these questions for interviews and add answers as you're gaining skills and studying the MBA as well. Now, in addition to this, we've also got the mental gym sessions, which is a try before you buy. So your opportunity to see who might be in class with you, what a typical MBA class is, meet some of your lecturers, and come and just have a chat with us about what an MBA class is like. And those sessions are usually run in the evenings, New Zealand time. And our next session is on Get Ready to Learn, which is on the 24th of January. So make sure that you block that time out, and we will send you an invite for that next session as well. Okay, so on the next slide, we're going to talk to you about how you can start your application right away and send us these applications so we can assess them for you. To be eligible for an MBA, you need a minimum of 3 years work experience, for which we would require your most updated CV. You require a B- in your bachelor's, for which we would require a transcript and your graduate certificate. And you also need to show us the purpose, the reason why you're choosing to do an MBA, for which we ask you to submit a purpose statement or an application statement answering 6 specific questions. And those questions are on the web page, the link to which is also on this page. But if you want to quickly access this page, you can just whip out your phones and scan that QR code that's in front of you. So I hope you're going to get clicking and get your applications to us as soon as possible. Our next intake is March 2024, so just around the corner. And we would like to see your applications for that intake. So this brings us to the close of all of the content and the information that we wanted to share with you. But we're now going to go on to answering some of your questions. Jens, would you be able to talk to us a little bit about students who come with different backgrounds and are looking to move into understanding those areas through an MBA?
Yep, Sanjay's question is absolutely perfect because it goes to why you would do an MBA. If you are a food technologist, which is a very much in-demand role in New Zealand, then you already have a food technology background. In India, where you're probably from, it is quite normal that you would start with a narrow bachelor degree, like food technology, and you would then add another master's degree, equally narrow on top of that, to be special. But in New Zealand, we have many companies with very small sizes. They pay good money, they have great career options. But if you're in a company with 20, 25 people, everybody does more than one thing. So what those companies are looking for are people who have a more general skill set. So our recommendation, if you're looking for a job, a career, and a life in New Zealand, is that you start with your bachelor qualification, like, for instance, food technology. And then on top of that, you put a general degree, like an MBA, that gives you a broader chance. You can talk about strategy, about HR, about teams, about supply chains, things that matter for many smaller firms. So what I would suggest is that no one will ever take away that you are a food technologist. You have 22 years experience, but now comes the time to make yourself appealing to companies in New Zealand. And that means they want to also know that you have a sense of how you sell the products that you create as a food technologist, how you source in supplies, how you look at global markets. The MBA as a general degree is one that fits very well with a narrow undergraduate specialty degree.
Grace, would you be able to talk to us about an immediate change that you saw in terms of working in a business environment as you started through the MBA?
Yeah, because I think the culture is very different. So one thing is we all need to learn coming to a new country is the local cultures, how people communicate with each other. Coming from Asia, compared to here is very different. We might be more conservative, quiet, listens to what the boss wants us to do. But in here, for example, through my internships, which is going to be my upcoming jobs, it's a small business, exactly what Jens said. It's a Kiwi family business, but it has been in here for over 20 years. And they are, so they don't have the budgets to hire special people just to do one thing. So with the MBA is plus my own expertise, I actually broaden up my scope of work, and it's a quicker way to actually understand all the game rules, the style, the culture, and even I have to be in the office, or I actually have to deal with the direct customers and the suppliers, all kinds of stakeholders. So it's the quickest way for us to build ourselves to be all-rounded. And the MBA help us to refresh, as I said before, is all the framework and terminology when we talk to people. For example, I never do anything with supply chains, with inventory or anything, but because this family business is producing cream liqueur, so it involves the whole process. And it's a small business, which I need to be able to talk about not just marketing, but the whole thing. And it helps me to understand what's the customers like, for example, it's I realize the summer holiday, it's super important, and people do stop kind of, they don't really work in January. And I do enjoy that. So it's some of these little things you only find out when you are really here, you really talk to people, and then you start to understand the culture, and we try to fit in. So this MBA is actually help to get us to fit in to the country, rather than you get a job offer, you come in and you jump into it.
Excellent. Thank you so much for that, Grace. Jens, there is a question here about a comparison between the MBA and the Masters in Management. Would you be able to enlighten us about that, please?
Oh, that's a good question. The Master of Management does not require work experience. It is an 18-month program, very, very good program for those who do not have any real work experience yet. It addresses younger people. I would think the average age in that class is probably 21, 22, 23. It is a very dynamic class that in 1.5 years gets you to do a full master's. If you have work experience, 3 years and more, and in the MBA, we usually see 5 to 8 years or so as an average, then the Master of Management is probably a slightly different course for you because you wouldn't quite get that networking opportunity talking to other people who already have work and management experience. So the decision tree is very simple. If you have 3 years work experience or more, MBA. It's faster. It includes a lot more management and leadership components than the Master of Management, and it gets you to a higher level. An MBA is a higher rated business degree than a Master of Management. If you have no 3 years of work experience, you do the Master of Management, only 6 months longer than the MBA. And then you also have a level 9 qualification that gives you the same rights for a 3-year post-study work visa. And of course, it gives you 5 points out of the 6 you need for residence. The 6th point is 1 year of work. The MBA does that in just 1 year, so you're faster off the starting block to start your career in New Zealand.
Thank you, Jens. While we're on the line of comparison, could Rebecca and Jens talk to us a little bit about why Massey University in comparison to maybe Te Pukenga or other institutes that we've got in New Zealand, please?
When you are listing that you have completed a master's degree on your CV, if you're listing that you have completed it from a university, that shows so much more value, so much more recognition from the person who is going to employ you. Really key factors there. And as we've highlighted as well, just the practicality of what we offer in the program and the support. Our students come back and give us that feedback so many times that is just such a great value for them when they're choosing the MBA with us at our university.
Look, the overall purpose of why you study is not that you want to study. Let's be honest. If you had a choice between working, earning money, supporting the family, or studying, you probably would prefer to earn money and to be in a good place. The issue is that in order to get to the point where you can earn good money, be in a good place, and support the family, you need that master's study to set yourself up. That means that the employers are important to you. It is not important what you like to study and where you like to study, and it is not important whether you spend a lot of money or lesser money. It is only important whether employers in New Zealand will recognize your qualification and will hire you. For the last year, from November 22 to 23, we had about 6,000 students that came to an institute that is a much lower level than university, and about 25,000 students that came to a university. So imagine when you look for a job, if you were studying outside of a university at a cheaper level institute, you are one of 6,000 competing with 25,000 who have a much higher level reputation. So you have 6,000 Fiats and Tatas competing with 25,000 Mercedeses. So who do you think is going to win that race? And it seems to me that if your proposal for your future is that you will have a good chance in New Zealand to remain and to make a career here, you need employment. That means you need employers who will accept your qualification and who will then hire you. And employers who have a chance to hire a university graduate will always pick that university graduate over someone else simply because it is a recognized world-ranked education, while institutes in New Zealand are not ranked at all.
Thank you, Rebecca and Jens. Rebecca, there's a question here on the English language test that we require.
The first thing I will say is when you apply, you can apply first without yet providing English test results, and your application can still be processed while you prepare to take an English language test. Now, you're asking about a potential English waiver. That can be possible only if, when you studied your degree or your master's, you studied it in what is considered an English-speaking country by the university, by Massey, and it has to be within the last 2 years. So if your degree was 10 years ago, then you will have to study to take another IELTS test or a approved equivalent language test. So the IELTS requirement is 6.5 minimum overall with no band less than 6.0. Sometimes we find students have easier access to the Pearson test. It's 58 overall, I believe. And so definitely prepare. Get your application in, but prepare to take that English language test.
And look, let's talk for a moment about why we care about English. If you're from India, English is part of your culture, but you don't really need it to get around. If you're from Russia, if you're from Africa, there are many other ways to get around. You can function quite well without good English. But what we do is prepare you for a career outside your home culture, a career in New Zealand, a career in Australia. After 5 years of being in New Zealand, you can become a citizen and then you can go to Australia. No visa required. You can live there. We prepare you for a career that takes you worldwide. And because most of our faculty are people that come from all sorts of different countries, English is really what we use as a common denominator. And that means that you need to be able to follow the lectures. You need to be able to contribute. And you need to be able to make sure that when you learn, you can give back to a firm, to the staff you would manage, to the stakeholders around you, and that requires that you function well in English. The IELTS test, for many of you who have done that, is not that hard. Some people prefer PTE, and Rebecca told you 58 is what we need. You can also do TOEFL, no problems there, but it is required that you tell us that you can participate well in English because we do not want you to fail. We select very few of the applicants that come for an MBA, and everyone who comes to the MBA will graduate if you follow what we tell you to do, because we select you well, and part of that is being able to communicate in English.
Thank you, Rebecca and Jens. Grace, I know it's late, but I've got one more question for you, if that's okay. I know that you moved to New Zealand with your family as well to do the MBA. Could you talk to us a little bit about that experience? Coming here with your family and managing a family while studying full time as well.
Yeah, the whole application process is very smooth. So my husband get a full year open work visa, meaning he can do any jobs he wants. And my son, who's 12 years old, he got a student visa. He can just go to any public school for free. And the whole process is very smooth. The thing I choose is I didn't do the part-times, so it's easier to manage the kids. It's purely because I have the kids and help making sure he has a good transitions. I choose not to do the part-time. So if you don't have this problem, feel free to utilize that 20 hours and go for your part-time and gain instant work experience. But it's important when we go back to school and we have the family here to support.
Perfect. On that happy note, let me thank all of you for hanging in there and coming in New Zealand from a late night, but where most of you are, I see some names that indicate probably, I would think we're talking Zimbabwe and South Africa, most likely, India certainly, and we appreciate you coming on board. This program at Massey in New Zealand is custom designed for international students. There are very few local students in this program. It is largely international students. They come because they like New Zealand. They come because they know we will take good care of you. And they come because they know that New Zealand offers opportunities that currently are not available in many other countries. In the UK, the discussion is about reducing work rights. In Canada, the discussion is about increasing the money required for students. In the US, the green card's kind of gone out with Trump. And of course, in Australia, everything that moves in the bushes will bite and kill you. So in New Zealand, we have no snakes. We have sheep, we have cows, we have wonderful economy. We have a group of people here that are very receiving. New Zealand has 25% of all of its people in the country being foreigners. No country, no modern country, OECD country, has anywhere near the ratio of 25% of foreigners, and we get along well. We have no drama, we have no protests, we have no religious issues, we have no ethnic issues. Everybody settles down, gets the work done, and enjoys the beaches coming up during the holiday season now in the summer in the Southern Hemisphere, and enjoys the opportunity of working in a country where the families are important, where the quality of life is important, and where people, regardless where they're from, are welcome. And we welcome you to come to Massey. Thank you very much for Deetha, Rebecca, Myra, and Grace to join us here tonight. I wish all of you a wonderful journey through life. And if we can help you with a Massey MBA, absolutely make contact and we will try to sort you out. Thank you very much and have a wonderful rest of the year. And I wish you a great holiday season. Bye-bye.